vulnerabilities to exploit, whether it's personal information, financial data, or critical infrastructure. No one is immune to the threats of the digital age. That's where cybersecurity comes in. GRISOFT IT Solutions can help you develop a career in cybersecurity and in six figures without necessarily having any technical background. Join us as we journey through this path together on our YouTube channel, GRISOFT IT Solutions. For more information, contact +1571 365 1251.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Eric Obin from GRISOFT IT Solutions. If today is your first time on this channel, I humbly request that you subscribe to our channel and also click on the notification bell to be notified anytime we post new videos. Now, we want to continue with our journey on how to pass the Cgrc exams, formerly known as the CAP exams. So for some time now, we've been looking at the various steps in the RMF, and we've looked at the prepare step, the categorize step, the select step, the implement step, the assessment, the authorize, and that is where we are now. So I will highly encourage you to go back and look at our previous videos so that we'll be on the same page, because in order to pass these exams, it is a must know that you understand each of these steps so far as the Cgrc exam is concerned. So in our previous video, we started looking at the various tags in the authorization step, and we said that the first tax is the authorization package. We also looked at the risk analysis and determination. Now, the third tax, that is what we're going to look today, is the risk response. We also have the authorization decision and authorization reporting. So under the authorization step, we have 5 tax. The first tax is the authorization package. We have the risk analysis and determination, risk response, authorization decision, and authorization reporting. But as usual, let's look at the purpose of the authorization step. So now, the purpose of the authorization step is to provide organizational accountability by requiring a senior management official to determine if the security and privacy risks, including supply chain risks, to organizational operations and assets, individuals, other organizations, or the nation based on the operation of a system or the use of common controls is acceptable. So if you look at this purpose, what stands out in this is that it requires a senior management official, which is the authorizing official, because the authorizing official has the sole responsibility to accept or deny risks. Again, the AO, the authorizing official, has the sole responsibility to accept the system to operate or to deny it. So in the absence of the AO, nobody is able to accept risks. So in the absence of the AO, we have to wait till the AO comes in. It tells you how important the AO is so far as developing the system is concerned. Now, let's look at the publication. So the publication for the authorization step is the NIST SP 837 revision 2, and of course, the SDL is operations and maintenance. So we'll look at implementation and assessment. I take it back. So the SDLC is implementation and assessment. Implementation and assessment. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this part is that it is very important. You have to know the SDLC of all the steps, from the preparation step, the initiation, categorization, the initiation, it goes down. So you have to make sure that you know the SDL, because the SDLC is asked in the exams as well. So again, the SDLC under the authorization step is the implementation slash the assessment, and it's a must know for that part. Now, the task again, we set the authorization package, the risk analysis and determination, the risk response, authorization decision, and authorization reporting. We have already looked at authorization package. I want you to go back to the video and look at it. We also look at the risk analysis and determination. Go and look at the video again. Now, we want to talk about the risk response. So when we say risk response, what does risk response mean? So let's get into it. Now, the stakeholder for the risk response again is the authorizing official supported by the AODR. That is the authorizing official designated rep. So the rep assists the authorizing official. However, as we said, the authorizing official has the sole responsibility to authorize the system to operate. Or if he feels that he can accept risks, then of course the system is going to be denied. Now, let's get into it. What is risk response? Risk response is simply an informed decision or action taken to accept, avoid, mitigate, share, or transfer an identified risk. Again, risk response is simply an informed decision or action taken to accept, avoid, mitigate, share, or transfer an informed risk. So whatever decision is made, whatever analysis is made by the AO and the determination, the organization would have to respond. And in responding to that, the organization can either accept risks, avoid risks, mitigate risks, share or transfer the risks. So now let's look at what the company will decide to do depending on what is being analyzed. Now, after risks is analyzed and determined, organizations can respond to risks in a variety of ways. And that's what we looked at, including acceptance of risks and mitigation of risks. Existing risk assessment results and risk assessment techniques may be used to help determine the preferred course of action for the risk response. When the response to risk is mitigation, the planned mitigation actions are included in and tracked using the plan of actions and milestone. Now, if the organization decides that we have accepted risk, then it has to be documented, in SSP. Now, at what point will the organization decide to accept risks? The organization would decide to accept risks if the impact of that vulnerability or the risk is not much of a high risk. It's not much of a high risk. It's not much of a high risk. It doesn't have much impact in the system. So if the risk analysis, after risk analysis, the company determines that, oh, this is not of a high risk to the organization, they can decide to accept the risk, then monitor it. That's what it means. So it has to be monitored. But if after analysis, they realize that this is an issue and it's of a high risk to the information that has been developed, then of course they cannot, the AO first, cannot even accept it to operate. But if after the analysis and determination, the organization responds to it that, oh, this is not of a high risk, we can still do with it together with the AO. After they look at it, then the organization will say that risk has been accepted. Now, let's look at the mitigation part of it. The mitigation part of it is to make sure that we put controls to reduce risk to an acceptable level, taking into consideration the mission, the business of the organization. So risk mitigation is putting in security controls or measures to reduce vulnerabilities or to reduce risks to an acceptable level, taking into consideration the business and mission purpose of the organization. This is very, very important. Mission and the business purpose of the organization. So at this point, the company will say that that's okay. We've said it's okay. Now let's put in measures. Let's put in security control to reduce it. And once they put in security measures to reduce it, now they tend to monitor it and it becomes part of the poem. When the response to risks is mitigation, the planned mitigation actions are included in and tracked using the plan of action and milestone. So it depends on what the company wants to do. The company can even decide to transfer risks, where it's been given to a third party. All these things, would have to be determined by the company together with the AO. Now, once mitigated, assessors reassess the controls. Control reassessment determines the extent to which remediated controls are implemented correctly, operating as intended, and producing the desired outcome with respect to meeting the security and privacy requirements for the system and the organization. Now, the assessors update the assessment report with the findings from the assessment, but do not change the original assessment result. The security and privacy plans are updated based on the findings of the control assessment and any remediation actions taken. The updated plans reflect the state of the controls after initial assessment and any modifications by the system owner or common control provider in addressing recommendations for the corrective action. When the response to risks is acceptance, the deficiencies found during the assessment process remain documented in the security and privacy assessment report and are monitored for changes to risk factors. So again, I take it back. When the response to risk is acceptance, the deficiencies are found during the when the response to risk is acceptance, the deficiencies found during the assessment process remain documented in the security and privacy assessment report and are monitored for changes to risk factors. Because the authorizing official is the only person who can accept the risk, the authorizing official is responsible for reviewing the assessment report and plans of actions and milestones and determining whether the identified risks need to be mitigated prior to authorization. Some risks may be of greater concern for organizations than other risks. In that case, more resources may need to be redirected at addressing higher priority risks versus lower priority risks. Prioritization risk response does not necessarily mean that the lower priority risks are ignored. Wow. So this is what we need to know so far as the risk response, which is the third task under the authorization step, is concerned. So in our next video, we will continue and look at the authorization decision. Then we will look at the final one, which is authorization reporting. So in a nutshell, risk response means the organization would have to respond to risks after the AO had done his analysis and determination when he had received the authorization package, which are the SSP, the SAR, the poem, and the executive summary, and any other artifact which will be necessary or needed so far as making determination is concerned. So responding to risks will depend on the organization, how they want to go about with the risks. But every decision that would have to be done would have to be discussed by the AO, because the AO will finally either accept risks or deny risks. I hope this video really helps. So see you again in our next video as we get into the last two tasks of the authorization step. Again, I'm your tutor, Eric Obin from Cgrc.
Cyber attacks are on the rise, with hackers constantly seeking vulnerabilities to exploit, whether it's personal information, financial data, or critical infrastructure. No one is immune to the threats of the digital age. That's where cybersecurity comes in. Cgrc IT Solutions can help you develop a career in cybersecurity, earning six figures without necessarily having any technical background. Join us as we journey through this path together on our YouTube channel, Cgrc IT Solutions. For more information, contact +1571 365 1251.